This is Captains of Industry.
Bongani Khumalo is our guest tonight, and we're going to delve into the complexity of this individual. Thank you very much for being our guest at CNBC today. Now, you've had business interests as the MD of JHI Real Estate. You've been a director in several companies in the mining space, Anglo Plats, Electronic Data Systems. You're a former deputy CEO of Eskom. So you are very much an industry player, many people would say, spanning the breadth of the South African landscape. What do you make of where this economy is growing? Some say we're going to be growing between 2.6 to 3.3%. In your dealings, do you feel that there's a renewed momentum of growth in this economy?
I have to congratulate the people playing a lead role in the management of the economy, participants in the business sector, as well as government leaders in that environment. I think that it is correct that we are moving upwards now. We're coming out of the recession, and that this economy is upward bound. We are in a growth phase. There is caution that is being signaled by economists. I'm not an economist. I heed the warnings and advice of such people because they are smart people. But also I'm very happy that we are moving in the direction that we're moving.
They're smart people, but they're also people who make mistakes. And one of the more cautious suppositions has to do with energy and electricity. Now, you come from that sector over 9 years at Eskom. What do you make of the current situation around electricity supply and funding electricity in this country?
I think it's very important that we must get back to a position where we have access to electricity, power, both for business and domestic use, primarily also for business use. There was a time when we had surplus capacity that was expected to end in 2007. That has come to pass. The effort now, given some of the setbacks that we've suffered, is to go back to a situation where we generate enough power, not only for present-day needs, but for future growth needs of the economy, as well as the economies of Southern Africa and other parts of the continent. So we need electricity, we need power.
Now, one of the challenges in terms of energy at the moment is financing, and the dominant news recently is the World Bank loan for the Medupi power station. But there's still a need for the broader expansion program, over 300 billion that Eskom needs, and to build also the Kusile power station. Now, as people look at various options about supplying and financing electricity, they've spoken about the need to privatize and commercialize elements of Eskom. They've spoken about the need for more independent power producers, more independent private sector investment in the sector, but that's not forthcoming. Why is that, do you think?
I think you're going to need a conversation. You're going to need very good planning, but there must be swiftness in the way that we move. The model that I believe will work is not a model of privatization, but a model of private participation. Opportunities must be availed that would be meaningful in terms of business, to business people, to investment houses, to be able to participate in the power environment. There must also be serious work done on the part of government through public enterprises such as Eskom to generate resources to be able to build power stations, to find other sources of a generation that may be renewable sources, etc., etc.
Now, one of the issues also around Eskom is governance. Now, you're a deputy CEO of Eskom, and some people have said the problems we're seeing at Eskom are attributable to people like you, the post-1994 managers who some people say lack the vision, lack the political will. Do you feel culpable in any way?
I feel very proud of the role that I played when I was with Eskom. I joined Eskom in 1991, and I was part of the team that drove transformation. I worked with some of the greatest corporate leaders, some of the greatest executives in Eskom. It was a model organization, both for the public as well as the private sector. We foresaw the need to bring back plant, to build power stations and all that, because we had strategic foresight. We also had capacity in terms of engineering. I was once also head of HR. We invested a lot in human resources development. We invested a lot in research. We led the world. We are amongst the best of the best in the world in terms of technology. So I am very, very proud of the legacy that we had left. Of course, we know that there have been some decisions we learned were made which created the setbacks that have been experienced. It's not mine to offer either criticism or comment as far as that is concerned, but there's a point at which momentum was broken. You must never forget, with large corporations such as that the decisions you take today will affect people who would be running the entity or benefiting or not from the entity in the next 20 to 30 years. So I think that something has got to be done. It's a great opportunity for Eskom to rebuild itself.
Well, on the more positive side, you were also the chairperson of Transnet, a parastatal that works a lot better than Eskom, but you've got a lot of expertise working within the state-owned enterprises sector, which many people see as dysfunctional. What's your experience and what are the lessons you've learned and taken from parastatals into private business?
What I never lose sight of, and I would like to counsel anybody and everybody who is involved with public enterprises, so-called parastatals. Don't forget that these quasi-business entities or quasi-government entities are designed to undergird the economy. They are not there to make profits. Of course, they are not there to make losses either. They are there to deliver a job of work, to make sure that we have the technology, to make sure that we have the services, etc., cost-effectively, reliably, and safely. So that is very, very important about public enterprises. I think somehow somebody needs to refocus the nation on public enterprises and their role in the economy. Don't make a mistake of privatizing public enterprises. By all means, bring in private participation. I think that's where the thing is. Put in good governance, empower boards, make sure that boards that you put in place are mature and have business and management experience so that they will understand the boundaries between non-executives and executives who run the business on a day-to-day basis, as opposed to people who supervise the running of the businesses.